Wow, the academia sure is busy during the day. But where should we go looking for people that we know?
Traveler, Paimon.
Cyno! It's been so long since we last saw you!
Welcome back to Sumeru City. I'm delighted to meet you again. So, what brings you back here?
Oh, nothing in particular. Paimon just saw a really big mushroom out on the road the other day and suddenly missed all our friends in Sumeru.
Funnily enough, we were reminiscing about you recently too. It was at a group dinner. I look forward to hearing about your travels. Something tells me we must have a lot to catch up on.
Really? You were thinking of us too? What a coincidence!
Indeed. Or as I call it, the Biryani factor. You really want me to say the rest? Okay. It's always rice to meet stew again.
Oh, darn, he said it.
You like that one, huh? You must if you remember it after all this time. Admit the truth. You have long been in awe of my razor-sharp wit.
All right. Here's your 500 Mora.
You're exaggerating. It's only 500 Mora.
Hey, 500 Mora is still a lot of snacks to Paimon.
All right. I'll treat you to some desserts later. Anyway, I'm actually investigating a case right now. My mind is focused on work, which is why I didn't complete the joke at first.
A case? What happened?
Nothing major. But after finding out who was involved, I decided, on reflection, to handle this one myself.
Need any help? We only came here to hang out, so we've got the time. You may as well take us with you, and then when you're done, we can, you know...
Such enthusiasm. Are you worried I'll forget about treating you to some sweets if you're not around to remind me?
What? No! Alright, was it really that obvious?
Obvious enough. Still, it's a fine idea. You are the heroes of Sumeru. It makes perfect sense to work together. All right, follow me.
I got you, boss.
Do you see him? The old man flailing around?
Oh, is he the one you wanted to talk to about the case?
Correct. His name is Cyrus, a former Spontamod sage. He taught both me and Lisa.
Huh? Cyno's teacher is in trouble?
It's ridiculous. I'm just an old man who enjoys a spot of gardening, shopping, and wine. What sort of person targets an old retiree?
Professor, I've brought some friends.
Ah, Cyno. Now who do we have here? Hold on, let me think. A flying fairy dressed in white? A youth who does not seem to hail from this land? My goodness. You must be the legendary traveler in Paimon. I've heard all about what you've done for Sumeru.
Wow, looks like we're really famous.
I've told him about you before. You are my friends, after all. That's right. Let me summarize the situation. A couple of days ago, Professor Cyrus suddenly received a threat letter.
A threat letter?
Exactly. Who sends a threat letter to an old man like me, for goodness sake?
This is the letter in question.
Cyrus, I have uncovered your secret. If you wish to prevent it from going public, leave 10 million mora at the back door of the cafe. Secondly, don't come looking for me. You'll never find me. But I will always be watching you and all of your secrets. Finally, if you dare to report this to the Matra, there will be consequences. Wow, they sure didn't mince their words.
Clearly, this person must be desperate for mora.
10 million mora, what a joke. I'm just a single retiree with nothing to my name beyond the tomatoes in my garden. Where do people think I'm hiding 10 million mora, huh? In my tomatoes?
There were no witnesses, so currently the letter is all we've got. So, Traveler, Paimon, let's put our heads together.
Paimon's ready too.
All right, take a look. Do you see anything suspicious? Yes. Some of the strokes are blurry.
So is there something wrong with the ink?
Possibly. And I bet the paper has something to do with it.
Most of the paper around here is much smoother than this, and the ink is absorbed quickly so it doesn't run. This paper, meanwhile, it's very coarse-grained, almost as if it's made from some sort of plant matter.
It's certainly not the same paper as we use in the academia, but the ink is nothing special. Just regular black ink that gets a blue tinge when applied to paper.
So do we think the culprit has a connection with the academia or not? Wait, check this out! Looks like this part got wet at some point.
Agreed. The staining suggests it was a colored liquid, not plain water. It also looks like it was wiped off with a damp cloth.
A colored liquid, so... tea? Wine?
Looks like we're thinking along similar lines. Let's go talk to Arof. There are some things I'll need him to take care of.
Arav. Ah, there he is.
Mahamatra Cyno. Sir Cyrus. Ah, and the Traveler and Paimon. It's been a while.
As such, I'm inclined to believe that the culprit in this case is a student at the academia. Somebody young and strapped for cash. Oh, one last thing. I'd start your investigation by taking a look at the cafes in the city.
Oh, of course! You think the culprit spilled their coffee on the ladder, huh?
They do look like coffee stains to me. Also, if I'm not mistaken, the letter is written on a type of scented paper that has aromatics added during the manufacturing process. The kind often provided as writing material for customers in cafes and taverns.
Ah, of course. Yes, like they sell in the gift shops. I remember now. Zaha Hadid bought some a while back. She said she was going to use it as wrapping paper for a vase.
Understood. I'll assemble a team to investigate the points of interest immediately.
You have my gratitude.
One last thing. Send some Matra to guard the entrances and exits of Sumeru City. And change into plain clothes. Don't let them see you coming.
Will do.
Great thinking, Cyno. So, where do we think the culprit's at right now? Yeah, they've probably been lying low at home waiting to see how Cyrus reacts.
You're right, Paimon.
Really? Which part?
The culprit's approach. Whatever happens, they need this Mora. But just because they warned Professor Cyrus not to go to the Matra, doesn't mean they know what he'll do next. So, like you said, they need to wait and see. And crucially, the culprit said they'd be watching the Professor's every move.
Huh? Wait, are you saying...
Found you!
What are you doing?
You wrote the threat letter!
I don't know what you're talking about. What threat letter?
I sensed someone was watching us from the shadows the moment we entered the House of Dana. You managed to stay relatively well hidden for someone reckless enough to threaten Professor Cyrus. There are a lot of people here, but we were looking specifically for Arav. Whoever followed us the whole way was likely to be the culprit.
I was just listening in, that's all. You know something big's going down when Mahamatra Cyno shows up, right? So I got a little curious. What's the big deal?
You smiled when Arav left. I saw it as clear as day.
Is smiling a crime now?
There are coffee stains on the letter. You mixed some coffee with water, gently smeared it onto the paper, then wiped it off with a wet cloth. All to create the impression that the letter was written at a cafe. Closing off the exits to the city doesn't affect you, because you already live here. And as long as the Matra were focused on the cafes, you would be free from scrutiny. The cafe was a red herring all along. You had to be somewhere where you could monitor the Professor's movements.
You can't pin this on me! I haven't done anything!
Really? Then why are you shaking like a leaf? The innocent have no reason to fear the Matra. But you... your heart's racing, and your eyelids are twitching. You're a terrible liar.
I would never...
Don't try anything or you'll pay the price. Now come with me.
Well, that was over quickly. Cyno already caught the guy.
You're telling me. 1 minute I go out for a quick smoke, the next minute I see Arav already on his way back to meet up with Cyno. Looked like a young guy, too. Couldn't have been much more than 30. But after what he's done, I'm afraid he's ruined his whole future.
Everyone, it's all over.
Gosh, that was so fast!
The culprit's name is Raka, a 16-year-old student in the Rataoist Darshan.
Huh?
We checked his records. He's 16, a third-year student.
But he looks so old.
Yeah, seriously.
Foolish child. He's too young for the criminal life. What the devil drove him down this path?
We questioned the culprit regarding his motives.
Oh, just spit it out. Nothing can surprise me at this point.
Very well. It's our understanding that Araka is a mediocre student who has been underperforming in his classes. He started taking extra tutoring to improve his grades, but developed a gambling habit around the same time and lost a lot of mora. Down on his luck, he went to the tavern for a drink and overheard some people chatting about Sir Cyrus's comfortable retirement. They mentioned that he's always arguing about his tomato plants with some old woman on the street.
Some old woman on the street? Goodness gracious. Has that rascal attended a single one of his classes? That old woman is Kasharwar's very own professor, Zaha Hadi. How can he not know who Zaha Hadi is?
Is this going somewhere?
Oh, right, yes. So another thing. We don't just argue about tomato plants. And what are they trying to insinuate by comfortable retirement? A man grows a few vegetables and suddenly he's living a life of luxury?
Maybe it's more the fact that you have the time to grow vegetables in the first place.
Araka mentioned he'd heard a rumor, alleging that Sir Cyrus illegally obtained a large sum of money from the desert before retiring and kept it for himself instead of reporting it to the academia. Araka believes this money to be the reason why Sir Cyrus hasn't kept up with any academic research or other projects since his retirement. And given your advanced age, he thought you'd be an easy target to blackmail.
Oh, Araka. I'm at a loss for words. I'm so angry I don't know where to start.
People make up rumors all the time. I am quite confident that Professor Cyrus has never embezzled a mora in his life.
Arav, you'll have to find some excuse to interrogate Araka again later. I need you to deliver a few firm fistfuls to him on my behalf.
I completely understand how you feel, Sir Cyrus, but I'm afraid that course of action goes against the Matra's principles.
Professor, there's no need to be childish about this.
Oh, come on. I was clearly joking.
Okay. Where does this go from here?
The academia will determine the appropriate disciplinary action against the student. And as for the individuals spreading rumors about the professor's obsession with tomatoes and some old woman on the street, there could be a slander case here. The Matra will continue to investigate.
Who said I'm obsessed with some old woman on the street? Mind your wording or you'll start a whole new rumor. You seem confused. Oh, don't you understand? Uraka is just a young boy who made a very rash and very stupid decision based on some groundless rumor he heard. Besides, I didn't actually hand over any mora to him. The whole thing sounds a lot worse than it is. All it costs me is a little reputational damage. That's all.
Please rest assured, Professor, that the Academia will issue a fair and reasonable punishment.
Yes, I have no doubt about that. But as a former educator, I'd still like to have a serious conversation with the boy's parents. Their family lives in the city, yes?
Correct.
We looked into the family. Both parents are merchants and they're often away on business. They've never taken much of an active role in their children's lives.
Oh, what a mess. You don't have to seal the evidence away yet, do you? I'd like to have that letter back for the time being, if possible. I need something concrete for when I talk to the family tonight. We have to show them how serious this situation is.
The relevant authorities have already reviewed the evidence and are now discussing Araka's punishment. You can hold on to the letter for now. Just make sure to return it within a couple of days.
Oh, so you'll be able to close the case in 2 days?
Give or take. Cases like this are quick to resolve.
Very good. Well, thank you for all your help. Perhaps we can all go for a meal together. Oh, my treat, of course.
My apologies, Sir Cyrus, but I have a prior commitment. Enjoy the meal, everyone.
Ah, I see. Well, that's a pity. But Cyno, you have to come. You found the culprit at record speed, and I owe you for that. Ah, and isn't Tighnari in town at the moment? Bring him along, too.
Wait, you mean Tighnari's in the city?
He is. Tighnari's master, Sir Nephis, called him and Kale to the Academia to help out on a project. They should be at Nephis's office at this hour. Though I must say, I'm surprised you're extending an invitation to Tighnari. Did you do something to offend Sir Nephis?
Don't be outrageous. Nephis offends me all the time. It's never the other way around. Anyway, hurry up and fetch Tighnari. I'll head over to the tavern with the Traveler and Paimon. See you there. Go on now. Don't keep us waiting. Not to brag, but we never had problems like this at Ratawa Hist back when I was still teaching. And if you don't want to take my word for it, you can ask them. They were students at the time. They'll tell you what it was like, won't they?
I was out in the forest at least 4 days a week back then, thanks to a colossal workload from Master. It wrought havoc on my poor tail, so I didn't exactly keep up to date with what was going on at the Academia. Most of what I know, I heard from Cyno after the fact.
Professor's become a lot more laid back in his retirement. He used to be far stricter, and was especially known for being extremely principled.
Wow. It's hard enough to stay true to your principles as a normal person. I can't imagine doing that as a sage.
It's a pity Kale wasn't around at the time. I would have happily taken her on as a student.
And then we'd have one more person who has to address Lisa as upper-class woman.
Really? Can't you just call her Lisa? She seems to prefer it when people treat her like an older sister.
Oh, believe me, back when she was a student, nothing made her happier than the younger students acknowledging her seniority.
Whoa, more food? Are you sure about this? We don't want to take advantage.
Oh, don't worry about it. Order whatever you like. And if it's not enough, order some more. After all your help today, treating you to dinner is the least I can do.
I thought I heard some familiar voices. Ah, and Sir Cyrus is here as well.
Oh, Kave, it's been a while. Zahahadi was talking about you last month. How have you been?
I've been all right, thank you. You're looking very well, sir. I'm glad to see it.
Have you eaten yet? Care to join us?
That's awfully kind of you, but I had a late lunch, so I'm not really hungry just yet. I'll have dinner a little bit later tonight. I just came to Lombard's to buy some wine, and when I heard some voices I recognized, I thought I'd come and say hello. So what's the occasion, anyway? Some sort of celebration?
Consolation, more like. You wouldn't believe the day I've had.
Sounds like things have really gone downhill since I was there. My whole time as a student, I've never heard of anything remotely like that.
I can't believe how young the guy is. Oh, what are his parents going to think?
Young people are always more susceptible to making rash and ill-advised decisions. Their minds are still developing. It's just an unfortunate fact of life. But still, this boy has some nerve. Just look at what he wrote. Oh, it makes my blood boil.
Wow, yeah. Jeez.
I will always be watching you and all of your secrets. And then he just followed you into the house of Dana?
If this were my son, oh, he'd get the scolding of a lifetime. Oh.
Luckily, I'm also an extremely principled person.
Kame! Your order's ready, sir!
Coming. I'll have to get going. Have a nice evening, everyone. I'll catch you all another time.
Okay, bye-bye!
Here I am. The coffee beans are in here too.
Yep, it's all there. I'll stop babbling away now. Let's eat before the food gets cold.
Oh, too tasty. Paimon's belly is about to explode.
Oh, mine too.
Thanks for dinner, Sir Cyrus. Master Ty-
Well, I look forward to that. In fact,
No problem.
I'll see you all later.
Good night, Professor.
Hey, anyway, I'll be leaving now. Don't stay up too late now, children.
Take care!
All right.
What do you mean,
Well, I was
camping? Oh, that sounds fun! Paimon's in!
Wait, no! That's my job! Don't take it away from me. You don't have to play the-
Everyone, no need to bring anything.
You got it!
Great. Then we'll see.
Time to set off! Let's head to the southeast of Gandharvaville. We're here! Wow, you guys are ahead of the game. You set up the tents already.
I'd say we're right about on schedule, actually.
Traveler, Paimon, let's go fishing together. Whatever we catch, we can grill for dinner.
You got it! Dinner's on us tonight!
I hope I can contribute too. The other Forest Watchers gave me some fishing tips a little while ago.
I saw some very appetizing mushrooms in the area, so I gathered.
Wow, camping with a Forest Watcher is the way to go! They think of everything! And even if they don't, they can improvise!
This is true. I don't think I've ever had a single rough day in this forest.
So, how has everything been going for you?
Well, there's been some high points and low points, but we've had some unforgettable experiences along the way.
I see. Oh, in that case, you should try a Valberry. I bought some.
A valuable suggestion.
All I.
Oh, I have a sudden craving for fruit tea. I'm gonna go fetch some stuff. Bye.
She sure made a run for it.
Unbelievable.
So Kale chose the path of tactical retreat. Could it be she foresaw? My dear friend, you know what I am about to say. Excellent. But it looks like we'll get told off if we start playing now. Let's enjoy the nature. I'll reel it in.
Firewood, spices, snacks, and drinks. There are 3 tents. Which one do you two want to take?
How about the one on the left? Well, Paimon just thinks he...
True.
Well, that's no good. Take my weapon. You can use it to bar the entrance.
Anyone would think you were sealing the gates to King Deshret.
Excellent. Then this...
I'm back! How's your appetites? Ready for the barbecue?
Always. Oh, it smells so good, Paimon.
Someone sure.
Wait, what?
Hey, if it works for steak.
medium well for me.
Okay, these are about ready now then. It'll be a few more minutes for anyone who...
Oh, that was so delicious.
I ate a lot too.
If you're tired, then go rest.
You must be getting sleepy too, Paimon. Why don't you guys head to your tents? Cyno and I will clean up.
Tonight, I show you mercy.
Good night.
Paimon's struggling to keep her eyes open.
Oh, don't forget this. The Staff of the Scarlet Sands.
Wait, you were actually being serious about that?
It's a very powerful weapon. Try it.
Paimon can't even lift that thing.
Fair enough. You sure you don't want it?
Yeah, Paimon's sure. We'll be fine. And even if we do get an uninvited guest in the night, Paimon will be here to take care of the traveler.
That reminds me of a parting king of invocations. I'll tell you about it tomorrow. But right now, it's time to rest.
I think they should all be here. Traveler? Paimon? Are you in there? Could you come outside for a sec?
Look at this.
What the? What's this sword doing here? Is it supposed to keep out intruders?
Evidently.
Huh? Who is it? Oh, what time do you call this? Paimon's gonna take out the sword. Yeah! Oh, hey them, Kave! What are you doing here? It's the middle of the night!
Sorry to wake you up at this hour of the night, but we've got a situation on our hands.
Let's get dressed and talk about it outside.
Something has come up. And since it pertains to Cyrus and Cyno, I deemed it essential to inform you all.
Whoa, back up. Let's start from the beginning. Where'd the wine cups go? I could have sworn I left them here after I washed them. Ah, there they are.
I'll have a cup too.
Can you see if the cookies are still on the table?
They are, and so are the fruits.
Oh, this is so bland. I should have gotten a few bottles of what Cyno's group was drinking last night.
Do tell. What were they drinking?
Oh, right, I forgot to mention. So, I ran into Cyrus yesterday evening when I went to the tavern to pick up some things. Anyway, they got a bottle of Lombard's new vintage for the table. You know what it's about, right?
I heard some people talk.
I wonder what Sir Nephis... Oh, Cyrus showed me the extortion letter, too. Give me a sec, I'll sketch it out for you. Okay, done. Take a look. You see what I mean? I don't think I've ever seen writing paper like this around before. God knows where the culprit got it from.
Interesting. These are all motifs associated with the tribes of the desert.
What? Really?
Take this, for instance. Looks like an outline of a spire, similar to the kind found on some ancient palaces. And the crisscrossing and mirroring here, I recognize that too. It bears a striking resemblance to an ancient emblem, one that hasn't been used in a very long time.
Whose emblem is it?
It's the emblem of the Temple of
After discussing it with each other, we both agreed that something didn't feel... This was a long way to come from the city. Alhaitham figured you were probably with Tighnari, so Gandharvaville was our first stop. But the Forest Watchers told us that you'd gone camping. Then, just as we were heading off to the campsite, we ran into Cyno. He said he was on a supply run. We exchanged a few words, and then he ran off.
Hold on. So what's the deal with that emblem you were talking about? The Temple of Silence, you said? What is that? Should we be worried?
Something's up, huh? Give me a second. Let me get Kale.
So you've never heard of the Temple of Silence? Well, to put it simply, it's an organization that has existed in Sumeru for over 1,000 years. These days, you can find a Temple of Silence office in the academia. Theoretically, it's responsible for the custody and disposal of information and documents not fit for public dissemination. At least, that's what they tell the outside world. In truth, it's essentially a vestigial institution nowadays. There's an office with their name on it, but it's functionally obsolete. Historically speaking, the original Temple of Silence is said to have been established by Hermanubis, one of the 7 pillars of King Deshret and the greatest of all sages. Most of the organization, by contrast, none of the academia temples...
So the Temple of Silence at the Academia is just a fake? Wow.
It's possible. The real question is, why? My guess is they're covering something up.
So, how do you know all this? Sounds like some pretty top secret stuff.
Did you forget? He did a stint as acting Grand Sage, and kept the pay raise even after he resigned.
Oh, yeah! Paimon did totally forget about that. So you took the chance to read all the top secret documents while you were acting Grand Sage, huh?
If you're asking me whether I familiarized myself with the documentation in my office, I would respond that that's a perfectly normal part of any job.
So much about this doesn't make sense. Why did the emblem of the Temple of Silence appear on a threat letter from an academia student to Cyrus? The student's only 16, and doesn't have any family ties to the desert. So where could he have seen that emblem, or gotten the paper?
You said you ran into Cyno, yes? Did you tell him what you've just told us?
Yep. He ran off as soon as he heard what we said.
Given that Cyrus is involved, he's probably halfway through solving the case by now. Still, we should try to catch up with him. At this hour of the night, Cyno will probably go looking for Cyrus at his current residence.
If the Academia's Temple of Silence really does exist just to cover up the truth, the sudden appearance of this emblem can't be good. It's sure to stir up trouble. We should pay a visit to the Academia.
Yes. As the Sage of Amorta, my master ought to know the truth about their office. You can ask him to tell you what he knows. The more information we have, the better prepared we'll be for whatever happens there.
If this situation is connected to the real Temple of Silence, the emblem has to be part of a bigger conspiracy.
Kale, could I trouble you to send a message to the Core of 30? Tell them to keep an eye out for Cyno and Cyrus. Traveler, Paimon, you two come with me. We'll go after Cyno.
Sounds like a plan. Let's go.
Cyrus has been living in the city lately. He rented a place near the field so we can keep an eye on his tomato plants.
Then let's go look for...
Here we are. This is the place.
We might be too late. Looks like nobody's home. Oh, Cyno moves fast. If he was...
I know that voice. Is that Tighnari I hear?
Ah! Professor Zahahadi!
Wow, so it really is you. My goodness, whatever is going on tonight?
We're looking for Cyno. So, he's already been here.
Yes, not long ago, in fact. He knocked on my door and asked if I'd seen Cyrus today at all. I told him the old fool left early this morning, and I hadn't heard him come back. So we went to his place, and would you believe it? He's gone. Goodness knows where to. It must have alarmed Cyno, because he took off in an awful hurry after that. He never did explain what this was all about. How serious is it?
Well, if Cyrus isn't at home... Oh, it sure doesn't sound good.
Professor, did you hear that a student recently tried to extort Cyrus?
Why, yes. When I left the house that day, I noticed he was watering his flowers in the field in complete silence. He had a piece of paper clutched in his hand, and he looked lost in thought. I could tell something was troubling him, but he wouldn't tell me what it was. If Cyno hadn't happened to visit him that day, he'd probably still be holding on to that thing. After seeing the letter, Cyno told him to contact the Core of 30, but Cyrus was very...
Huh? Cyrus didn't want to...
As a former sage...
So Cyrus initially hoped...
Oh, dear. What on... Oh, I almost forgot.
Thank you.
What does it say? Let Paimon take a look! My friends, this is a rather complicated state of affair. Unfortunately, I cannot disclose more than that. I ask you to understand and accept that I had to act alone at this stage. Don't come after me.
Yep, that sounds like Cyno. Thank you, Professor. Please do not worry. We will do all we can to protect both Cyno and Cyrus. Traveler, Paimon, let's head to the Academia and regroup.
You're here? I thought you were going after... Ah, I guess you lost their trail.
We went to Cyrus's house. No one was there. Cyno got there before us, but he was long gone by the time we arrived.
He didn't say where he was going?
No, he left us a letter and told us not to go after him.
Can't say I'm surprised.
Typical Cyno. Anyway, some updates on progress on our end. I drew the emblem from memory again, but in more detail this time.
I checked some ancient texts for a similar design. The one I found was a little blurry, but the similarities in the general form and certain details were clear enough to confirm a match.
Yeah, and we're lucky we found anything at all. It turns out the emblem was all but lost to history. We scoured the entire Academia collection, and that book was the only one with a record of the motif.
Meanwhile, Arav managed to get Uraka to disclose his source. The one who told him about Cyrus's embezzled funds was a young man from the desert. According to Uraka, he had a striking presence and was well educated.
Apparently, the two met in the tavern over a game of cards. The guy claimed to be in the city for business as part of a merchant caravan. Uraka was intrigued when he heard what his new acquaintance had to say and brought up the idea of extorting Cyrus for Mora. The guy encouraged him to go ahead with it, then handed him some pen and paper to write the letter.
I see. So it could be that this person planted the paper intentionally.
So, how do we find this guy? Did Uraka say where he is?
He doesn't know. He claims not to have seen him since that day in the tavern. The man gave him some tips on how to carry out the extortion, but from then on, Uraka was acting alone.
Nephis and Arav have gone to meet the Core of 30 and review the city's entry and exit records. Also, Nephis admitted that the Temple of Silence in the Academia is just a facade. The true Temple of Silence once came to the rainforest to establish a collaboration with the Academia, but as time went by, the sages gradually became corrupt and foolish. The Temple of Silence felt that they could no longer trust the Academia and ended the partnership. They retreated back to the desert about 400 years ago. Ever since its inception, the Temple of Silence has been the guardians of King Deshret's civilization and belief system. They traveled throughout Sumeru, sequestering and guarding any wisdom that posed a threat to the people's livelihoods. At its roots, it was a legitimate and reputable organization.
The Academia of the Day.
Not only that...
So how did Cyrus become acquainted?
I'll bet that's the question that...
Whoever is behind this,
He must have recognized it right away. That'll be why he didn't want to...
Since the desert is where the temple...
I have to go after him.
Really? Are you sure that's a good idea?
I should be fine, as long as I bring...
Everyone, I have news from the Core of 30.
Master!
Oh, so that's Nafis, Tainari's master? Oh, we're finally getting to meet him in person!
It's a pleasure to meet you, Traveler in Paimon. Several independent eyewitnesses have reported seeing Cyrus and Mahamatra Cyno leaving the city at different times. Both were heading in the direction of Caravan Rebat. I was going to suggest that you join forces with the Core of 30 in this case. However, as I'm sure you've already heard from Al-Haytham and Kaveh, the Temple of Silence is involved. The Academia has made a number of decisions throughout history that I am ashamed to talk about. It may well be that no better choice was available to them, but those actions are nonetheless a stain on our legacy. I won't attempt to make you understand the Academia's perspective. Now is the time for action.
I understand where you're coming from, Master. But I'm afraid the situation might be more complicated than we thought. I think we need to keep a low profile, or risk making things worse.
Good point. If Cyrus is involved with the other side, or worse, if he's fallen into their hands, and... Everyone, we have to get Cyrus and Cyno back safely. We cannot afford to lose them.
Need our help? Whatever you need, we got you covered.
Really? Wonderful. You have my most sincere gratitude. Arav and I will continue to follow up on the lead from Uraka. Kaveh, Scribe Alhaitham, I'd like to ask you to cover the duties of the House of Dana. Tighnari, you are planning to go into the desert, correct?
I am. Kaveh, I'll be okay. You stay behind to help Master and Alhaitham.
Well, if you're sure. Okay. But be careful.
Thank you all. Arav, let's go.
You'd better get moving. Don't forget to ask for help when you need it.
Will do. Let's go, Tighnari. Hopefully we can catch up with Cyno before it's too late.
Knowing him, he's probably covered a fair distance already, but we still have a shot. Let's take it.
Okay, we made it to Caravan Ribat. Where should we go next? Maybe we should ask the nearby guards if they've seen anything.
Hold on. Look over there.
Is that Dia?
You sure you want to brave the desert alone? I mean, it's your choice at the end of the day, but still.
It's not my first time. I'll be fine.
Cyno.
If you're really going to go through with this, then at least take our advice. When you're packing for your trip, budget for 5 days more than you plan to spend out there.
Makes sense. Okay, I'll go get ready.
Thought we might find you here. You're trying to retrace Cyrus's steps, aren't you?
Didn't I tell you not to come after me? I thought I had a good lead.
Well, sorry, but we never agreed to that. Why would you go off on your own?
Nothing personal. It's just a complex situation.
Takes a spec, but why so coy today, huh? You only gave us his age and description. Oh, also, hey guys, it's been a while.
Dia and Candace!
You're looking well. Glad to see it. Candace and I came to Caravan Rebot on business. We ran into Cyno as he was asking about some elk. Some people say they saw him. Guess he stood out as an older guy heading into the That's gotta be one heck of a story.
Cyno, it's okay if you can't tell us anything. We're here to help out.
No, it's not that simple.
We spoke with Zaha Hadid.
Sounds like this is far.
Still, if you start...
My thanks to you both.
Come on. No need to get all serious. Just buy a round of...
That's a deal.
All right, so, you all set?
Yes, we'll handle it from here. Thank you again for your help. I don't take it for granted.
All right, then we'll leave you to it. Just remember, if you change your mind and need some reinforcements, we'll be here.
And don't think you'd be imposing. You can depend on us.
Don't worry, we'll keep him out of trouble.
Hold on. There's a few things I'd like to clear up.
Go on.
So, after you left the campsite, we had a longer talk.
Clearly, we've only scratched the surface of the Temple of Silence question. It doesn't surprise me at all that the one in the academia is a fake.
Do you have any connection with the Temple of Silence?
I do. I trust you're all aware of the spirit that gives me my power. Hermanubis, the original founder of the Temple of Silence. Due to my unique constitution, I was put through a number of trials in the desert when I was younger. Later, I met the professor, and he brought me to Sumeru City. But my memory of that time is hazy. I can't recall much. It's a good thing that Kaveh noticed the emblem on the letter. Without that, I don't know if we would have connected the dots and realized there was more to this case than mere extortion. I did not recognize that symbol at all. Whether that's because I've never seen it, or because my memory fails me, it's hard to say.
Yeah, you're right. Thank goodness for Kaveh, and for Alhaitham's diligence during his time as acting Grand Sage.
But Cyrus must have recognized it right away, right? Otherwise, he wouldn't have had any qualms about you reporting it. Oh, maybe his connection to the Temple of Silence goes even deeper than yours.
I suspect so too. Professor has never once mentioned the Temple of Silence in conversation. And whenever the conversation turns to Hermanubis and the concept of spirit indwelling, he avoids going into any depth.
Well, speaking of avoiding things, you do realize, don't you, now that we've caught up with you, you're stuck with us for the rest of the way?
I am aware. And I have accepted it. Or rather, I don't see how I could manage to ditch you en route, so I might as well accept that you're coming with me.
That's right. Fact is, we're coming with you whether you like it or not, so the best option now is to try to look out for each other. Ha!
Fair enough. Then at least let me buy you a drink once we're back in the city.
Works for me. All right, off we go. Let's start by seeing what the guards here can tell us.
Hello.
Mahamatra Cyno?
I'm looking for someone, so I'd like to confirm any recent foot traffic in and out of Aru Village.
A man matching that description passed by Aru Village not too long ago. He stopped by to load up on food and water and feed his sumpter beast, then he was on his way.
Where was he going?
Let me think. He took a seat by the entrance of the village for a while, and had a brief chat with the person who came to deliver the water. He said he was headed somewhere near an oasis, but he didn't mention which one. Do you have a map? I can mark out the direction he was heading and the best routes to any nearby oases.
I have one. Mark away.
Great. There you go.
Thank you so much.
You've got a really good memory.
You're quite best of luck. I hope...
Hold on. I see some people over there.
Do you think it's safe to ask them what they know?
Should be. I'll go...
No. I'll do it.
Huh? Why can't Cyno go talk to them? What difference does it make?
Given my background, appearance, and the way I dress, I might not be the most welcome visitor here. Just in case, it's probably better to let a more neutral party handle things.
Hello there. I hope I'm not interrupting. My friend and I are looking for an elderly man who's gone missing around these parts. Any chance I could ask you a couple of questions?
Oh, a missing person, huh? Sure. What do you want to know?
I'm just wondering if you've seen him. Let me give you the details.
So, a silver-haired guy in a long robe.
He'd stand out like a sore...
Yeah, sounds like the kind of guy...
He's looking behind me.
Uh-oh.
Your friend over there stands out a lot, too. Hey! Aren't you Cyno, the General Mahamatra?
Yes.
You don't seem surprised.
It wouldn't be the first.
Oh, you're the one
I have a bad feeling about this guy.
Someone's on it. No need to hide it.
I thought you were a group of...
Your henchmen...
Hey! Hear that?
Suits me.
Just cut to the chase already.
Alright. Come with me. All of you. Don't you want to find your friend? Silver-haired, long...
So you know where he is.
Just follow me. And here.
What? Where are you looking? There's nothing here!
Please?
Whoa! Something's coming out of the ground!
What is this enormous building doing here?
And how was it so well hidden? King Deshret's technology?
Wait, so... Hold on, who are you guys really?
Is this... the Temple of Silence? So you're a member?
All good questions. There'll be plenty of time to address them later.
This is not what Paimon was expecting to find in the desert, especially not hidden right next to an oasis. Oh, Paimon's scared. They must have kidnapped Cyrus. Do you think this is the guy who...
What's wrong? Thinking about your professor?
I just hope for your sake you haven't done...
Me too. Hope I haven't done anything to incur your wrath. All right. You can wait. I'll inform our leader that you've arrived at the Temple of Silence. Sit tight until he comes to...
So he's just gonna leave us here unattended?
They can't have been at the oasis by chance. They were waiting for us. Whoever the leader is here...
So this is the Temple of Silence. After leaving the rainforest, they hid themselves...
Hey, look! coming back.
Don't worry. Someone will come and call for you soon.
What's your name?
Sorry, guess I was so delighted to see you, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Sethos. I'll be here if you need me, but I'm not planning on answering all of your questions. Other than that, you can occupy yourselves however you see fit.
So we're free to explore by ourselves?
Yep. I mean, I'm not worried about you running off. Cyrus is here. And unless I've misunderstood, you're all quite anxious to see him again.
He's right. Well...
Hey, Sethos! Have you got...
Sure. Although, I'm assuming by chat, you mean not often. The Temple of Silence is a place of quiet and solitude. We don't get too many visitors. Yes, that was... He insisted...
So you framed...
No. That's not entirely true. Of course.
Why did Cyrus leave for the desert as...
You'll have to ask him that one. All you need to know is that he recognized our emblem. And it was his own... What kind of question is that? He's the
Right, but back at the...
I've lived in the desert...
Ugh, what is Paimon...
Come on, we've only just met. If I give you all the answers up front, nope.
Really?
I have no need to go there. Not when the taverns are full of the Urakas of this world. Besides, we're well... Spies? It's not as clandestine as that. The city gate... Mm-hmm.
I never imagined that the true Temple of...
That's King Deshret's technology for you,
We should be wary of our host.
Ah, here he is. Grandfather, the person you wish to see is here.
Well done, Sethos. Greetings, one and all. I am Ba Moon, the current leader.
Professor!
Cyrus, are you okay?
Ah!
Watch what you're doing!
Oh, my apologies. We have no intention of causing you distress. But you must understand, Cyrus is of great importance. Cyrus owes me his life, and to the Temple of Silence, he owes a debt of gratitude. I let him go a long time ago, but now...
I wanted to end my feud with this old bag of bones before you caught up with me. Just leave, Cyno. This is...
So that's why you...
Some things...
Cyno didn't make us do anything. We came here for the same reason he did. To rescue you.
My secrets...
You're afraid. You recognize... You knew as soon as you saw the letter that we, not Uraka, were the ones speaking to you. It threatened you only because you know what you did. Your own... For you, Cyrus, are... But then, you betrayed us. We both know what I said to you that day. That as the leader, I grant you permission to leave, but that one day, the sands of time will catch up with you. And when that day comes, you must pay the price you owe.
Hermanubis is my...
Does he mean you?
The moon is right. He rescued me from the brink of death once, many years ago in the desert. When he learned that I was a scholar, he invited me to come here and revive the might of Hermanubis together. It was a great, daring plan. The moon proposed that we implant bar fragments. Many believers volunteered themselves for the experiment. But We soon discovered that the bodies of grown adults. One other child was identified as a suitable vessel, and his parents agreed to release him into our custody in exchange.
For many years, the Temple of Silence had been in possession of 2 Ba fragments from Hermanubis. As the test subjects were sent into a room that had been prepared for the ceremony, and the original plan was for a 3-stage experiment. Resonance, implant. As the second stage began, I realized a decision had to... But as I was deliberating, both Ba fragments suddenly became active. They glowed. Our 2 vessels had both to preserve our faith.
Ultimately, I ended the experiment.
In recognition of your past contributions, I chose not to send someone to hunt down and kill you both. Your lives were spared, but I have always wanted to see you, Cyno. Losing you and your Ba fragment dealt us a devastating blow.
I see. So that's how I gained my power.
Look, in essence, I borrowed your Ba fragment for a decade or so. And now you are seeking justice. But you cannot lift a finger against Cyno. He is the General Mahamatra. Your actions would be seen...
I'm sure you don't remember anymore, dear Cyno, but you've met us all before. You were so young then, when we all gathered around and celebrated the revival. You and he, Sethos, you were our final hope.
You'd like me to return my power?
As a follower of Hermanubis, I have allowed this power to remain in the rainforest for far too long. Now, it is time to reclaim.
That power is not yours to reclaim.
You are wrong. Cyno was chosen, but he was not the only one. My child,
So those are your terms for freeing the professor?
Despise me all you want. My sins are my own. The Temple of Silence is an innocent party. It is because of my foolishness all those years...
So what you're saying is, the power of 1 Ba fragment is not enough? You're asking me to return the one in my possession, so it can be implanted in him instead?
Divine power causes great suffering to those who wield it. How do you...
He is no longer a small child. But regardless, this burden is...
Both my heart and mind are telling me that what you are proposing is a terrible idea.
Don't listen to him, Cyno. That power...
I know. But if this is a question of your freedom versus a
Sorry to interrupt, but in my view, there are a number of contentions here that still need addressing. Say that Cyno refuses to return his power, and you also refuse to release Cyrus. Then, we are at an impasse. I find it hard to believe that you went to all this effort without planning for that possibility. You're trying to gauge where we stand while keeping your remaining cards close to your chest. Well, my stance is, put the rest of your cards on the table. Then we can have...
Wait, those ears. So, we have a descendant of the Valukashuna in our midst. Splendid. Everything we have longed for, Hermanubis will provide. Perhaps this very day we'll...
Why is he coughing so much? He looks like he's in really bad...
Moon, you...
Take our leader back to his room. Grandfather, I know what you wish to say. I don't like to drag out conversations, so I'll just cut to the chase. Had Cyrus not stopped the experiment all those years ago, the plan would most likely have been a success. The wisdom of Hermanubis would still. It's no use talking about what-ifs. I'm not like my grandfather. The Temple of Silence has a grand legacy and a sacred duty to fulfill. So it's someone... But I see things a little differently. I don't believe the temple... So I'm not going to force...
You have courage and wise judge. And things will look.
If you hadn't betrayed my grandfather, I might well be open to persuasion. But it's a bit...
All you ultimately...
I'm glad to see you're giving it some serious consideration.
I won't forsake my professor. Nor do I intend to run from a problem that I must face sooner or later.
That works. Oh, my grandfather still has a fair few things he wants to say to Cyrus, so...
Are you sure about
I need to think this through. Everyone, let's meet again later tonight. Until then...
All right, well... Trainee Forest Ranger call.
I've taken some time to reflect on this. He's a stubborn man.
I agree. My master Nephis says the same thing. What?
So that you've heard all you need to... My own memories of this place are hazy, though. I do remember having some I was still young then. And all I could understand was that there was a strong will inside my mind. Thinking back on it now, the power that came to inhabit my spirit was probably one of the cornerstones of their whole faith. So if...
You're not gonna give in to their demands, are you? Surely there has to be another way.
No. I have no intention of returning it. I need this so I will challenge them head on, and win the right to wield this power for myself. Fair?
This reminds me of some... Kaveh has made similar observations about the desert tribes from his work trips there. He says many of them have their own internal rules. They talk... I think we could turn that to our advantage.
Wow, and just like that...
Looks like we have the same idea. Turn it back on them now while we still can.
Great. And I know...
Sethos, let's talk.
Have you made up your mind?
We'll get to that, but first, I have some degree of medical training, so I was wondering if you might let me take a look at your grandfather?
I have no objections, although we do have our own doctors here. I doubt you'll be able to tell us anything we don't already know. Follow me. Keep your voices down.
Let's talk outside. Bamoon has fallen into a deep coma, and his prognosis is quite grave. I'm sure that your physicians have come to the same conclusion. He appears to have sustained a serious injury in his youth, which has been exacerbated over the years by the heavy burden of work and now by the effects of old age. Regretfully, I must inform you that, based on what I've seen with patients in a similar condition, he doesn't have long left. A few days.
Yeah.
You're his heir, aren't you? You clearly have a lot of respect for... So tell me how we can end this on your terms.
Yeah, there's no time to waste.
You know, the two of you are actually in a very similar predicament right now.
Right. And you didn't...
You're right. I accept, Cyno. This all began because of Hermanubis. So let's end it with the rite he himself created. Legend has it that when Hermanubis first arrived in Tuletula, he sparred with the city's residents. He and his two companions proved their mettle by fighting over several days, winning the support of many fine people. That group of supporters were some of the first members of the Temple of Silence, and the sparring matches were enshrined as one of our founding rites, the rite of duels. It's where it all began.
Sounds very fitting. I'm in.
As a fellow vessel of Hermanubis, your ties to the Temple of Silence run deep. So I will permit you to participate in this rite, along with your chosen companions.
3 against 3. Sounds good.
However, I have some additional terms. Letting Cyrus lead...
None needed. We're on this. If I win, the Temple of Silence must release Cyrus. And consider this if you win.
It's a deal.
Well,
there never was.
You have to win.
Yeah, that's right. Besides, it stayed with you ever since...
Both as General... Yeah. When you...
Exactly!
The Traveler and I will never...
And neither shall I. The desert was home to an ancient and great civilization that for a variety of... But there must be personal factors at work here, too. I can't shake the feeling that Bamoon cares for many more things than he... Tomorrow.
We gather on this day to perform once more the rite of duels, with the greatest of all sages, Lord Hermanubis, as our witness. This is our most representing the Temple of...
Grandfather, you're here.
A rite of duels after all these years.
I know what I'm doing, Grandfather. Just leave it to me.
Representing the Academia?
Ready. We will fight to have our...
Warriors, we come not to debate what brings our challengers here, nor...
Huh? Are you sure?
I agree. She's very strong. Sending her out first will definitely intimidate the opponent.
Okay, then you're second.
Sure.
We have decided.
So have we. Let's begin.
Duelists of the first bout, please step forward.
Don't forget, safety first! Hey, you there! You better play nice with her, or Paimon will make you regret it!
A little bit too much chatter from the audience over there.
Hey!
A swift end to the first bout. I now invite the duelists of the... When you're both ready, you...
Let's begin.
Watch out!
He drank plenty of water before the bout, so he should be fine.
Uproot you! Keep up. One with the forest. Can't see? I hear everything.
Thus ends the second bout. We will now move to the third bout. Duelists, please.
I'm ready.
So am I.
This is the final stage of the rite. I remind you both that the terms you agreed upon when you're both
I am Sethos, vessel of Hermanubis. For many years, we have kept our covenant with Lord Hermanubis by guarding the secrets of King Deshret. We earnestly sought Lord Now, I will fight.
I am Cyno, General Mahamatra of the Academia, student and successor of Cyrus, the Sage of Spantamot. And you, I think you left some things unsaid. This is a sacred duel, and Hermanubis is...
Everyone, old and young. My grandfather is a... But our faith has held us back for too long. After times have changed, then I thought of you. Each Ba fragment of Hermanubis. I once thought that...
I am more than just a warrior. I am my own
Exactly.
The name Hermanubis has left its mark on... So show me your answer, Cyno. Show me I can be more than my faith. More than the... Bring it on!
That's all you've got? What happened to searching for your answer?
fight's over. Do you yield?
You won.
Well then, looks like you found your answer.
I give his glory to you.
I've seen that light. That is the light of our Lord, the great Hermanubis, priest over all other priests. His spirit dwells within that lightning, and his will lives on. Once a warrior of Tynar, he emerged from the barren desert sands to serve the god king Al-Ahmar. After the death of the god king, Hermanubis gathered his followers and the Tynarian priests and led them to the city of Tule-Tula. There, they founded the Temple of Silence, and from that day forth, we became stewards of all knowledge that survived from King Deshret's civilization. Barely a century passed before war ravaged the desert. One by one, Eremite leaders took up arms against each other in battles that would devour what little remained of their civilization. Only the wise city of Tule-Tula was spared under the guiding hand of the Tynarians. But peace did not last. Coveting the knowledge of King Deshret, the beasts set their eyes on Tule-Tula. The king of Gurabad laid siege to the city and ordered the sages to surrender to him the Temple of Silence as proof of his victory. The ruling elite colluded with their oppressors, betraying the temple so as to hold on to their rule over the city. They declared that the knowledge guarded by the temple was the true cause of corruption. These were dark days, and we faced enemies on all sides. Our Lord had long since exhausted his strength, keeping the forbidden knowledge introduced by King Deshret at bay. To ensure the temple's continued survival, he broke his being into many pieces and began the ceremony of Hermanubis' legacy, bestowing his power upon his mortal followers. With this power, the temple was able to defeat the tyrant's army. Yet, we were not hailed as heroes. Strange and unfamiliar as this power was, it struck fear into the people's hearts and drove them to reject us. In the end, the people of the temple and the Tule-Tula Tynarians left the city for good and made their way to the rainforest. What followed next was inevitable. The elite of Tule-Tula fell and were decimated. War engulfed the desert. And we wandered from place to place, always in hiding, all the while keeping close watch over our secrets and staying true to our mission. Betrayal forced us out of the desert and into the forest. Then mistrust drove us from the forest into the desert once more. We have lived in exile for far, far too long. Yet, today, the Temple of Silence has borne witness to the glory of Hermanubis once more. Thank you.
is it? Do you feel okay?
Grandfather.
Hey, Sethos.
I know. I just...
I guess you were prepared for this.
Yeah, he's... At least... he...
What's next for you?
Per my grandfather's...
But that's never... I did foresee this possibility, and Sethos. I believe the honor should... Were it not for this duel, or indeed if you had other intentions, the Ba fragments would most likely be in your hands by now. I do.
Still, I didn't think Bamoon looked very surprised by the final result. Perhaps he had...
Well, and Sethos.
But...
No, that's a much bigger...
I will try.
Actually, part of me wondered that way. Had you won, and were I to win, he knew that the temple's... his plan meant...
And here I thought the General Mahamatra wouldn't care for all the... You're absolutely right. Thank you for everything. The Temple of Silence has a... But you must be By the way, Tighnari, my The story goes that King Deshret, he went on to fight many the Tighnarians who left, in all likelihood.
How fascinating.
I like this story.
By the way...
Yes. Cyrus.
If it's true...
Someone's got to make... I will make a detailed report on all of this to Lesser Lord Kusanali. And arrange for an official delegation from the Academia to... I'm sure you'll have lots to attend to in the day if we're going to work together.
I will. All right.
See you soon. Come hang out with...
What were you thinking, gallivanting off into the desert alone at your age? What if you take the bucket, hmm? You told not us.
Oh, please, will you stop your...
What do you mean, what other choice? Do you mean to... a one-man suicide mission, hmm?
All right, What do you mean, bag of... Okay, look.
What?
Tighnari's master is really laying into Cyrus.
Wow, I haven't seen Master get this riled up in a long... The last time he chewed...
I think I'll go around and update everyone. Tell them this. We can go for dinner.
Makes sense. I'm in.
Paimon's coming
Hey, Kale.
You're back! Well, look who we have here. Would you mind explaining to me what has been going on this past few days? I heard you all ran off into the desert and got...
All taken care of.
That does not answer my question. How could you be so careless? That goes for you as well. Yes, and you. When you run into problems, you really ought to ask for help, you know? I've been around...
Now would not be a good time to attempt to argue with Farazan.
You're right.
Mm-hmm. It's not the first time that I've had to talk to you about this sort of thing either. You need to learn that there are times when the right thing to do is get a more experienced member of staff involved.
Kale, please do something.
He's giving me the signal. All right, guess it's time to play my ace of... Say, Madame Farazan, I can see you're pretty upset, but, I was just wondering, remember that time you offered to give me a tour of the Academia? Huh?
Wait, did I hear that right? Kale, you remember? Wonderful. Well, of course the
Poor Kale getting dragged off like that. Also, check out Faruzan acting like some sort of official
Kale! Cup.
Huh? What?
What do you mean, cup? You need a cup.
Oh, it's nothing. Just Master's way of reminding me to stay hydrated while I'm out and about.
It's code for let's reconvene at the cafe. Tighnari and I used it while we were in school, and it's become something of a family tradition now.
Oh, that's good.
Mm-hmm. 2 people left. Let's bring them along. Am I hallucinating?
We're just reorganizing all the books we used.
There's no rush.
My sincere...
Yes, with your...
I see. The temple...
And it sounds like they managed to preserve a whole...
That day will come. Now, as a token of my appreciation.
Yeah, sounds great.
Sure.
And then, the Traveler just pounced on their opponent and knocked 10 there with Tighnari. He put up an amazing fight, too. We ended up winning all 3 bouts.
Whoa, part of me...
A truly edifying account of the events.
Hey, Paimon included all the juicy details. The Traveler just pounced and then waved their sword like this, then splintered.
Despite winning 3 bouts in a row, you still ceded the position of leader to him. That's very dignified.
Of course. Being dignified comes with being a true champ.
I got to be a champion too, for once. I've not sparred.
Yeah, huge place. It felt like something right out of an epic poem. Imagine this. It was like there was...
Maybe save that one for...
I think that'll do me.
Shall we stop off at the House of Dana again before heading home? We should probably finish.
My thoughts exactly. See you around.
I should get going as well. See you all later.
I need to go say thanks to the Core 30 for their help. Also, Sir Nephis says he wanted to introduce me to some of the Academia's work processes.
Kali's come a long way. She's much more...
Everyone's a work in progress.
Yeah, true.
That was good. It feels like everything's fun. Life is all about these moments when you can finally relax and hang out with good friends after...
Do you 3 have anything? If not, would you come somewhere with me? That's a secret for now. Wouldn't want...
Okay. I think I can guess what you're talking about.
Well, now Paimon's...
Been a while since I last made my way up here.
Wow, look at this place! We're so high up!
Need any help? As you wish.
It's a nice spot, isn't it?
What a great view! We're so high up, we can see for miles!
Traveler. turn around. This is my secret base. Somewhere I only bring my best friends. When I was a student, I used to slip away and climb up here all the time, just to clear my head. I was quite young then, and hadn't made too many friends yet. Back then, I had a lot of the same questions that Sethos was asking. Who am I? Why do I have this power? And what should I be fighting for? Our gifts help us to find our rightful place in the world. That was my experience. And I'm sure Sethos will figure things out in his own time, too.
You two really are like brothers.
I feel the same way. Of course. I see no need to be humble when it comes to the facts.
I still remember one time when we came up here to chat and do our homework. Cyno accidentally dropped a fruit. Luckily, he has fast reflexes, so he caught it just in time.
That was the one and only time. Nothing will ever slip through my fingers again.
Those were good times. I kinda miss the student life.
You know, Paimon really shouldn't be able to imagine Cyno doing something like that, but for some strange reason, the mental image is coming through clear as day.
Then make it stop. There's somebody there. It's Professor Cyrus. You guys carry on without me. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Hey, you're not supposed to jump down! Be careful!
Oh, my day.
Professor, what?
Cyno. Just the man I'm looking for. Guess what I found in...
Some old photos?
Can you believe it? This notebook was just sitting in a pile of odds and ends in the Sage's office. I was at the Academia earlier to discuss... Oh, time flies. Look how tiny you are in this pic.
You look quite young yourself in the... it's this one. I remember that.
Yep. Looks like her work, all right.
And this one.
Cheeky girl.
Is there something you'd like to say to me, Professor?
Like what? Like... hey, at moments like this, I can't pretend I'm a good person. Bamoon had every reason to despise me. And whilst... I've dreamt of that place many times after leaving. You've matured so much over the years, I know.
Since you're my professor, I should save you some face by not calling you out on all the
Good thinking. Take your own advice next. Seriously, why bully an old man like me? I thought heroes were... Hey, wait, how did I not notice this one earlier? Look how cute you were when you...
Yeah, and look how serious and professional you used to be.
Oh, I can't compete with you anymore. First you get better than me at the...
Don't say that.
That's... Hey.
I'd like that.
All right, I'll add it to my schedule. Wait, no. Next week is the tomato growing competition.
Or you could find a